downloaded that videos. Hope you downloaded the videos.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just delete tomorrow. Okay, and if you're not, please download. Close. I mean, delete that
No,
videos.
I think the link you provided, the last link on. '20th, right? After 20th, there is no link.
Yeah, so
We got
28 is the our last topic was 28 which I provided. 21st, 22nd we didn't have the class. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, let's try to understand that vendor master record. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so we'll discuss about today vendor master record. So as we informed that partners, okay, vendors and customers, employees, all these are all partners to the company, right? So in ECC we have only vendor master records. There was separate transaction codes, separate tables, and separate process. For a customer master card, there is a separate process for that, and for employees and everything, it is a separate process. But in S4HANA, we have only one common process, that is called business partner. Okay, so the difference between the ECC to S4HANA, the major difference is from in ECC we have vendor master card, there is a separate transaction codes, okay, and process is different. But in S4HANA it is the same, it is a single transaction code which is a business partner. Okay, so let's understand about that. So we already discussed about that, how the business partners and the vendor master card is different. Okay, again we'll try to understand now. Okay, give me a moment. Where is my mouse? Just a moment, I'll get the mouse. Okay. It's not working. Okay, so I just stop the Bluetooth, right? Okay, let me start Bluetooth. Okay, so is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no problem, right? We turn voice. Okay, so now we are discussing about the business partner. Okay, so this business partner is the concept which is new for S4HANA. So if you are working in the older versions, okay, if you still get the chance to work in the older versions, the transaction codes are different. Okay, and in S4HANA it was different. Okay, so in S4HANA, as for HANA, we called as a single transaction code, that is the business partner, BP. The transaction code is for business partner creation is BP. Okay, in S4HANA. If it is in ECC, okay, so for vendor master record creation, master record creation, which is the XK01, okay, MK01 and FK01, so which we already discussed in the starting. What is the difference between the XK01 and MK01 and FK01? What is the difference? So XK01 is can be centrally created. So what is the mean of that central created, and MK01 is purchasing information created, purchasing data created, and FK01 is financial company code data is created. Okay, so when we are trying to understand XK01, MK01, FK01, you need to understand that vendor master records are divided into three parts. Okay, one is general data. One is general data. Okay, and the second one is company code data, and the third one is purchasing organization data. Okay, so they are divided into three parts. So general data is the like address, common, which is useful for the company codes and useful for the purchasing organization. So like address, emails, mobile numbers, okay, contract controls, tax number, all these numbers, all these details and all, they are entering in the general data. And when coming to the company code data, it is especially for the payment related. Majorly it is relevant to the payment. So how you are paying, how your company is paying to the vendor, okay, which account they are paying, what are the financial details, like bank details, okay, who is the contact from their side, okay, is there any payment terms are there, okay, is there any validations are there, all these things which will be there in the company code level. And when it is coming to purchasing organization data, when you want to write the purchase order to the vendor, or when you want to do any procurement from this vendor, what information which is needed, like order currency, Incoterms, okay, so automatic purchase orders, like so different purchasing organization data which we are maintaining in the purchasing organization level. Okay, so they are dividing into three parts: general data, company code data, and purchasing organization. So when centrally created means the user or the person who creating vendor master card, they can have the access to create the general data and purchasing organization data, okay, then and company code data. All together they can create at a time for vendor master record. Okay, how we are creating material master for purchasing views, accounting views, okay, plan data storage location views, basic data. So how we are creating like that in the vendor master record also. When centrally created access is there, they can create that general data, purchasing organization data, and company code data. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So then when it is coming to the FK01, ಏನಮ್ಮ FK01, when it's coming to the FK01, what will happen? Company code data. Only they can create general data and company code data.
Purchasing data.
FK01. Okay. When it is MK01, they can create general data and purchasing organization. So they don't have access to see that financial data. That means company code data.
Other.
Okay. So this is the limited access authorizations. So because when purchasing team they are creating the vendor master card, so they are not aware about that what needs to be entered, that payment informations and all. So there must be separate users for finance and separate users for the procurement. Okay, so these cases will be always they will give access only for the FK01, MK01. Okay, clear? Okay, if he is the MDM team and he collected all the information from the finance and purchasing team, then the central team they can create the vendor master card centrally for all the information at one time. Okay, so usually in the real time, mostly financial team they will take care about the vendor master card. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Any questions here? So this is only difference in the ECC. But when we are trying to create in the BP business partner, okay, we don't have like general purchasing. We have general purchasing organization company code data, but it will be created in the BP only directly. Okay, how they are differentiating that? So they have the BP grouping. Okay, there is a concept of BP grouping. In the S4HANA, there is a concept of BP grouping. Okay, so you can ask me the question, sir, if the vendor is the BP, if the customer is the BP, if the employee is BP, then how we can differentiate that? How we can differentiate that? Okay, so even if it is created, BP is common factor. Okay, when you are creating the BPs, you need to be extended that BP to either for the purchasing organization data, company code data, like you have to be create as a vendor or you have to create as a customer. Okay, it's clear. Sometimes what will happen, the customer and vendor both is same, because vendor is whoever he is the vendor, he also be the customer to me. Is it correct or wrong? Whoever they are
Yeah,
supplying the goods, they can also purchase the goods from our side, right?
yes,
Can be possible or not possible,
possible.
right? So in that case, you can create the common BP number for a customer and vendor. Okay, unique number. Okay, clear? So here we have the concept of BP grouping and BP roles. Okay, when you are defining BP roles also is there. So I think Siva, you have the older system, right? Older SCC version, right? If you have tried there, it will not be having that BP concept. It will be having only
Yeah, yeah.
XK01, MK01 like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you try to the SAP system in the S4 HANA, so system will be terminated has absolute that the new transaction code, that's the old transaction code, it's absolute. So let's open that. So what is the transaction code? I'm just trying to enter XK01. Okay. So in older version, so older transaction code I'm trying to enter in the S4 HANA. Okay. So you can see here XK01. Okay. I'm just entering that. So what it will give you the message? It will give you the message in the down. Okay. After you enter that, this transaction code is the absolute, and rerouting to the new transaction code, that is BP. Okay. Let's see. First time we are running, right? It will give you the message. So what it is telling? Message. What is telling message here?
Redirecting to. Oh, sorry. Where is the message? I'm not able to see.
Okay.
The below top but XK as a transaction XK01.
Yeah. So redirecting to the transaction BP has the transaction XK01 is absolute.
Absolute. Okay.
Okay.
Like that.
Clear? So you need to use only BP, business partner. Okay. Clear?
Yeah.
So this is a new transaction. So if somebody is asking that what is the major
Voice is
change,
breaking, sir, in between. Today network is not okay that much.
is it?
Yeah.
For both it is having the same problem?
Yeah. Looks like.
Yeah, now it is fine. Continue, sir.
Okay. I'm back to my home. Okay, let's see. Okay, so BP. Okay, see, if I just enter the BP, it will go to the new transaction codes. Okay. So what is the transaction code? BP. Okay. So now you can see that BP can be created as a person, BP can be created as an organization, BP can be created as a group. What is the difference? Person, organization, group. So set of people has a group, they can supplying that goods, or single person can be has a BP, or organizations can be have a BP, right? So when you are defining that business partner, either you can create as a person, or either you can create as a organization, either you can create as a group. Clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a top option you have. When you're creating BP, you need to select it. Okay, if suppose the organization Tata Group, he is the my supplier, then I will create as a organization. If the local vendor, he is a person, then I can create as a that one. Okay, so it's not only for the vendor. It might be customer, or it may be employee, or it may be resource contractors, anything which is there. They can create as a BP. Okay, clear?
Oh,
Any questions here? Any questions here?
no questions.
Okay. So I'm just clicking on here. Now you can see that here BP grouping is there. Okay. And BP role is there. Okay. So these two are differentiating to this process. Okay. BP role and BP grouping is the differentiating that how you're creating your BP. Okay. So before going to this one, let's understand the older how it will be like that. Okay. Let's understand about the older how it will be like that. Okay. So now I'll just opening that one more screen. Now for Metal Master, which factor it is controlling? For Metal Master, which factor it is controlling? Which field it is controlling? Entire Metal Master.
Material type.
Material type, right? So like in the vendor master record also, there is a one field it is controlling the entire vendor master record. What is that field?
Vendor type.
Vendor account group.
Account group.
Vendor account group. Okay.
Account
So this vendor account group will be controlling that entire vendor master record. Okay. Clear?
Yep.
So how this is controlling that? So how you will be creating vendor, generally how you will be creating vendors. Okay, so I can differentiate like okay, domestic vendors. Okay, I can differentiate like import vendors. Okay, I can differentiate like service vendors. Okay,
in-house vendor.
in-house vendors. Okay, you can create in-house vendors, and you can create like one-time vendors. Okay, you can create a one-time vendors. You can create as a FI vendors. FI vendors is like payments. Only they will be taking payments. Okay, so like servicing they are giving, na? They are you are paying to the amount to the vendors, FI vendors. So these are not procurement related. These are financial related vendors. Okay, so like you can differentiate the vendors. Why we are differentiating like that? So because domestic vendors, whatever it is applicable, the tax informations or some local country information, all it will be applied only for domestic vendors. When it is coming to the import vendors, these are from overseas. They have their own terms and payments, and they have their own settings, right? So they are differentiating like that. When stock vendors and service vendors are different, right? Service vendors they are providing only service. They are not providing any stock items, right? And one-time vendors these are the dummy vendors. Dummy vendors means we discussed, right? Dummy vendors.
Dummy means they cannot.
They are not regular vendors. They are not regular vendors. We don't need to be create every time permanent vendor number for that, because we just buying for one time. Okay, so we don't want to be maintain records for them and tracking to them, because it's only one time. So in that case, I can go with dummy vendor code. That is one time vendor. Clear? So when they are creating vendors, they will be creating like domestic and import, like service, like they will create. Okay. Clear? Now this vendor account group, how it is controlling that? So the same how material type is controlling the metal master, the same way here also number range. You can define your own number range. Okay, own number range for each account group, and you can define external number range or internal number range. right? And the other one is field selection controls. Selection control. Okay, until here it is common for metal master, vendor master, purchasing for card, even POs, PRs. These three are the common factors. Number range is, you can define number ranges, you can define external or internal number range, or you can define the field selection control. Okay, but coming to the next point, so you know, right, what is the difference number range, right? How you can define the number range? We'll be defining one interval. That interval we are assigning to that vendor account group. Correct? Correct or wrong?
Yeah.
When external number range, internal number range, what is this concept? External number range and internal number range?
The external number is basically where we are going to create manually. Internally is system generated.
So manually you are entering that number. Okay?
Number.
Okay, it's both, it is creating only, but manually means you are entering the manually number. Okay, externally means you are entering manually, and internally means the system automatically generated based on the sequence of number. Okay?
Sequence number. Yeah.
Okay, and field selection control.
Yeah.
So as we discussed that basic data, general data, purchase organization data, company code data, all these levels, what are the fields is mandatory.
Basic data generally.
What are the fields are mandatory, what are the fields are optional, what are the fields are hide. That we can do in the field selection control level. Okay, so how we did for metal master, we created one group, and that group reference group, field reference group, that field reference having the fields, that mandatory optional we are doing. But here we have directly only one account group, right? Each individual account group level, what we are trying to do, we'll be selecting the field, and optional or hide we are just putting that. Okay, so let's try to create this tree first. Okay, so what is the what is the transaction go to customization configuration? What is the transaction go to configuration? SPRO. Okay, SPRO, SAP reference IMG. Okay, so here even financial having that the business partner settings. Okay, even financial also having the settings, even purchasing team also having the settings. Okay,
Settings.
because it is a part of the financial and it is part of the MM also. Okay, clear? So let's see that here.
Okay.
Now go to logistical general. Where is that logical general? And metal master, basic data, partner, retail basis. Here you can see that business partner is there. Okay, so in the business partner you can see here, okay, customers or suppliers. Okay, so you can go to here, customers related, BP customer, and you can go for even for vendor also. You can go to vendor also, suppliers. Okay, okay, here also supplier is there. Okay, so now see that first you can go to define account groups and field selection for supplier. Okay, so these are the different account vendor account groups. Okay, we can define your own vendor account groups. So we have standard also, or you can define your own customization also. Okay, clear? So usually that 0001, 0002, 0003, 0004 like that, whatever it is there, it is a standard. Okay, Clear? And what are the customized one is there, just starting with that, those are all customized one. Okay.
Customized.
Okay, so you can create your own vendor account group. So I'm just going into the inside, just go to details. Now you can see here the vendor account group. Okay, the name, you can give that what account group name you are giving, like domestic vendor, service vendor, okay, like one-time vendors, okay, import vendors, FI vendors, like you can define your own. Okay, you can also see that if you want to see that what exactly the definition from the vendor, you can see that in this tab you can define the account group for supplier. When creating the supplier master record, you must specify the account group. Okay, so you can see here the detailed information of the what it is used and how it will be used. Okay, so this is the every configuration will be having the one text, that information will give that to see that how it works. Okay, now I'm just going to this one, define account groups. So what I said, if you want to create your own customized vendor account group, what you need to do, you need to select the existing one and copy. Right? Select the existing one and copy. So I'm just trying to do here, what I can put here. I'm just putting that vendor, I can put like RLs ZD1, okay, domestic vendor. Okay, so I'm just putting that, creating like domestic vendor. Clear? Okay, I'm just enter. Okay, this is already created somebody, so I'll just use something else. Domestic vendor. Okay, DSV. Okay, I'm just entering that, copying it. So I'm just copying that from existing one and copied. Okay, so whenever you just creating anything, you just copy from the existing one, then you can modify what you want to modify that. Okay, clear? So now select this one, go to details. Now see that the details what you want to change here. Okay, the first one is, what is the first control? What is the first control? For vendor account group, how it is controlling to the vendor master card? First control, number range, right?
Number range.
So that number range you can see here, the number range interval, but you can see this is the not edit mode, it is the grade mode. Okay, that means you need to configure somewhere, not here, to number range, because you need to be define your number range, right? So it is not possible to define here. So what you can go back, okay, you can go back and define your number ranges for supplier master record. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm just going to that. Here you can see that intervals, there are multiple intervals are there. Same how we created for metal master record, here also you can define. You can see that what free intervals are there. Okay, you can see the free intervals. Okay, these are free intervals are there, you can define. Okay, what number range you want to define. Okay, so let's see how to define that. So first you have to be insert, you just need to be put the insert line. What you need to do, you need to insert the line. If you have selected this one, then it is deleted. Okay, if it is selected this one plus mark, it is inserted. Clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Delete means the data completely goes out from the DB, or
Yeah, the number range it will be gone.
from the screen.
The number range it will be gone. Okay, that means next if you are trying to create the number for that vendor account group, system will not allow because it's already deleted group. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm just inserting this line. Okay, and you can define the number range, interval number. I'm just putting something like Z1 or something. You can define 99 or something which you can define. Okay, or you can go to directory intervals, free intervals, and okay, go to free intervals. Why it's not there? Free intervals are not there. It is showing right before only. Okay. let me go back. See again what intervals are there. Let's go to here, free intervals. Okay, here it is showing. Okay, so I'll just put something here. We'll try here from there. Okay, I'm just putting Z9 something and enter. Okay, now see that Z9 is updated or not updated. So that means numeric interval number range you can create. That means the interval group you can create, or alphabetic alphanumeric also you can create. So what is my number which I created? Z9 number series, right? So let's see if it is created. See here it is copied. Okay. Then the external number range or internal number range. You can see the checkbox here. If you want to use this is the external number range, you can put select checkbox. If you don't want to use as a external number range, only internal number range, then you don't need to put the checkbox. Clear? Is clear?
Okay.
So now I'm saving here. Now what we did now? We just defined number range interval, but still it is not assigned to the my account group. So what you need to do next? You need to assign this group to the my vendor account group, customer vendor account group. What is my vendor account group? ZV
ZVS1.
vendor
Yes.
domestic, right? Domestic vendor, DSV, right? So before that it is 03 is there. I'm just changing this one. You can just select F4 and see that my own customized number range. So I'm just selecting that. Okay, and save. Okay, so you can remove, you can decline this one because these are somebody they deleted. So they should not delete that. Okay, if these people are practicing, they are deleting existing groups. Okay, so it is assigned to some other groups, right? So they will get a problem. Okay, so now this ZDSV is assigned to the Z9. Okay, clear? Now this Z9 is the which number range it is there? This Z9 is a number range that is this number 133401 started. Okay, so now let's see, go back and see here my define account groups and see that my group there TSV domestic vendor. So let's select this one, double click on that and see here the number range interval was updated. Clear?
Here the number range can be given at vendor account level,
Vendor account group level.
both external and internal.
Yeah.
Internal.
No, only one.
Okay.
Either external or internal. Only one. Only one we define, right? Yeah. Either you can define internally or either you can define now external. So if you are not giving external, then it is a grayed out and it is considering as internal. Okay?
But the sequence number will be generated by the system, right? For the
Yeah,
internal.
sequence, if it is internal number range,
Do you have a problem?
no, if it is internal number range, then system will give the sequence number. But if it is external number range, you have to give the, in the defined number range, you have to give the
Range.
one number. Okay?
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, I will show you data as well. Okay, so what will be happen if you are not giving the number? Okay, if you are giving the wrong number, the system will give the error message. Boss, you are defined in the this number range. You have to give the external number range between the this number only. Okay, if you are planning to give some other number which is not defined this number series, system will give the error message. System will not accept. Okay, clear? Is it clear? Any doubts here?
Okay.
Okay, so any doubts? Okay, so now let's go to Let's go to again account groups. Now we discussed about the number range and external number range. What is the next? What is the next control? Internal number range definition is over, and external or internal number range is defined is over. The next third control is, what is the third control? Field selection.
One-time account or dummy account.
Field selection.
Fields. Sure.
We are talking about the controls, account group controls. Okay.
Okay.
Now you can see here there is a general data, company code data, purchasing sub-range data, purchasing plan data. So there are multiple are there. So you can define directly here. Just double click on that. It will go to the different fields from here. You can go to address, double click on that. You can see that multiple fields are there. So these are the fields already defined in the vendor master record. Okay. So what you can do here, you have to put required entry, optional entry, display or suppress. So when you are defining the, suppose let's assume that I'm using name 1. So do you want this information mandatory or optional? Okay, so that you can put here suppress, required, optional entry. So like you can define that multiple informations, all the fields information here directly it is there. Okay, so all these fields it is already there in the vendor master records. Okay, so based on your requirement you can do required entry, optional entry or display or suppress you can do. So same way this is the general data. If you go to purchasing data, in the purchasing data again they are divided into 3 parts like purchasing order, currency, terms of payment, Incoterms, minimum order value, ABC indicator, like which field it is mandatory, which field is not mandatory. You can put that. Clear?
Okay.
So there is no problem here. You can directly assign to the directly vendor account group level, because here it is we are defining at vendor account group level only. So these settings are there directly in the vendor account group level. But if you metal master, if you see that metal master are different. There is a field reference you have to create. That field reference level you have to be selected mandatory or optional for field group. Correct? But here directly account group level only you have these options. So it is very easy. Clear?
Okay.
Any questions here?
No.
Okay. So this is the third control. Okay. Then the fourth control is whether you are planning to create this as a one-time account or permanent account. Okay, either it may be domestic or it may be import or it may be anything. Whether you are planning to create as a one-time vendor or it is a normal vendor, the payment vendor. So one-time vendor is what is the meaning of one-time account? If you have selected this one, okay, whatever the vendors which is created, you created vendors, you don't need to enter any address information while creating the BP, while creating vendor master card, because you don't know. This is just I'm creating for dummy code number. So when you need to enter that, when you creating the purchase order, when you are using this dummy code, there you can enter that the address details of the vendor who are using as a dummy vendor. That means irregular vendor. Okay. Okay. So one-time account is, if you selected one-time account, always this account group is whatever vendors is created. Those are not regular vendors. These are only one-time vendors. So the same code you can use for multiple times, for multiple purchase orders with multiple addresses, not same address. Clear?
Yeah.
So any doubts in this one? Any doubts in this one?
As of now, no doubt, sir.
Okay. So I'm just going to that again. Okay. So the next control is on-time account. So on-time account. Okay. So one-time account is the dummy account. Okay, so we are using for when planning to buy the product instantly. Instantly means he is not my regular vendor. Okay, on spot. Maybe you are planning to buy from the who is not regular. Okay, who is not regular. You can put not regular. Or dummy. Okay, clear? So, so no need to enter any address details in the vendor master record when you creating vendor master record with one-time account. Why it is not needed? Because I don't know, right? Because I'm just spotly I'm buying to the that vendor. He is not my regular vendor. Okay, so I don't know what is the address for that. He is not my permanent vendor. So I'm just using to process the purchase order with dummy account because he is not registered in the my company. Clear? So usually how it will be like companies, they cannot accept the vendors, right? So they have some rules and regulations, they have contracts, something, and they have some agreements to with the vendors, some dealings.
Some
So
parameters to
parameters.
finalize the vendor.
Yeah. So all these things sometimes it will take long time. So they might be want to go with one-time vendors like. Okay. Clear? Okay. So now
Okay.
the fourth point is okay. So vendor subrange. Okay. Plant relevant vendor subrange. Okay. You can define plant relevant or vendor subrange. So do you want to define that or not? Okay. So what is that? What is the use of that? So the next one is, what is the next one? Plant relevant
Plant relevant.
and vendor subrange. So plant relevant, I think you can understand, right? So individual plant level, if they have a separate information, like purchase, when you maintaining purchasing organization data, if the plant one and plant two have the different information between for the same vendor, okay, in that case you can maintain the plant relevant data, right? But what is the vendor subrange? What is the vendor subrange? Subrange. Vendor subrange. So sometimes what will happen, okay, vendor behaving with multiple addresses. Okay, so let's say example. Okay, Amazon is there. Okay, Amazon US is there, and Amazon India is there. Okay, now so Amazon is the vendor. My vendor is Amazon, but they behave like they can deliver the product from the US also. They can deliver product from the India also. Okay, so when I'm purchasing from Amazon vendor, Amazon US, so what is the currency? And when I'm just buying from the Amazon India, okay, what is the currency?
INR.
So this is INR and this is USD, right? So that means same vendor, okay, with multiple different order currencies because they are origin wise different. Okay, sometimes maybe multiple origins are there. Okay, even if it is same currency also, the payment terms and incoterms or it will be different. So when you have that kind of the situation, what you can do, you can create vendor subrange allowing. Okay, the same vendor you can allow to maintain the multiple purchasing organization data. So in interview point of view, they will ask that can we maintain the for the same vendor, can we maintain multiple purchasing organization data, purchasing data. Is it possible or not possible? Is it possible or not possible? Multiple purchasing organization data for the same vendor.
Yeah, possible.
Possible. So how it is possible? Based on by using the vendor subrange.
By using vendor subrange.
Okay, clear? So that is the concept. So if you want to use the plant relevant vendor subrange, you need to select here vendor subrange and plant relevant. Okay, clear? So you can, if you need more information on this, you can also select F1 and see that what it is defined. Okay, indicates that denoting that data can be stored at vendor master record subrange levels. Okay, the same here, it is a plant level. Indicates that doing the kept in the supply master record at plant level. Okay, clear? Any questions?
Okay.
Okay, so how it works, okay, I will show you when we creating the business partner. If you don't want to use that concept, then you can uncheck this one. Okay, it's clear? Now,
Yeah.
now there is a one concept of partner schema. Okay, so what is a partner schema? What is a partner schema? Any idea? We discussed this point also when we discussing about
All
partner schema, partners. So partner determination. Partner determination. So what is a partner determination? Partner schema, partner determination, whatever it may be. Okay. What is a partner determination? So we discussed this point in the earlier. For the same vendor, okay, for vendors might be having the multiple partners. Okay, so main vendor will be different. Okay, ordering address will be different. Okay, and goods receipt.
delivery address, receipt. Okay.
Okay, so supplier who supplying the goods, he is different. Okay, payee is different. Okay, so there is a possibility of the same vendor can be maintaining multiple partners. Okay, so let's example. Okay, so suppose I have the company. Okay, so I'm not dealing any financial related. My third party, my vendor is dealing all the financial transactions, like suppose XYZ bank or something. Okay, so I can say that when I'm just paying that amount to that, I'm just paying that alternative pay to the vendor, that amount. Okay, and suppose let's say I am the main vendor, but when ordering the goods, it is going to the some other vendor. He is the partner to the main vendor. Okay, so what is the example? Give me example, one example. Same, Amazon. So Amazon will take the order, order address is, Amazon will take the order. Okay, who goods supplier? Sorry, this is the goods, not goods receipt, this is goods supplier. Okay, who is the goods supplier? Think, who is the goods supplier? Who is the goods supplier?
Is a third party partner.
Any of this outsourcing who supplying the goods, right? Anyone who come who deliver that.
Logistics partner.
Not logistics. He's a partner who you can put like logistics also maybe. Okay, but it's logistics means the goods which is the Amazon goods. Somebody they are handling that logistics to storage and all. That is different, right? But goods supplier is the delivering is happening from the different supplier. Okay.
Different supplier.
Yeah, so it may be Samsung or maybe something which like Dell, Apple. They are supplying the goods directly, right? Right. So they are the good suppliers because order is taking Amazon in the online platform and they are informing to that good suppliers, please deliver this goods to the customer. Okay, so in this case, ordering address is Amazon, good supplier is some Samsung and LG or Apple or local vendors who are supplying near to that, right? Okay, so then again payment, pay, alternative pay, maybe pay job, pay ATM,
Phone Pay, Google Pay.
phone pay, all this all come to or maybe some bank, HDFC bank platform, online platform. Okay, so all this, right? So there are multiple, right? So you are paying direct, alternately, instead of you paying to Amazon directly, you are paying to a third party, right? Correct? So that means the main vendor is different. The alternative vendors are behaving like depends on the character. It's like it's different alternative pay. So that's why. So when you creating the vendor account group, you can define your own vendor account group. That account group has a define has a supplier, good supplier. That vendor is creating has a alternative pay. So that option we have. That's what, right? Here it is displaying the standard. You have option like in the standard. What you have options here? You can see alternative payee, invoicing party, forwarding agents, ordering address. All these are standard only. Okay. What is the forwarding agent? Transport, no? Somebody transport. See, Samsung is the main delivery, but Samsung will not deliver to your hometown. Some third party, which is like we have DTDC, like courier
Blinkit.
services, Blinkit, all services they are using as a forwarding agents. Okay. Blinkit is different again. Blinkit, they are taking orders also, right? Yeah, correct.
Correct. They take
So
also.
Blinkit will be different again. So you cannot consider Blinkit. Blinkit is ordering address. Okay, you are ordering to Blinkit directly. They are supplying. In that case, the forwarding agent and ordering address both Blinkit. But in my case, if it is a unique forwarding agent, that is like DTDC, courier services who are doing that.
Zomato.
Zomato also it's not forwarding agent. Yeah, Zomato taking orders, right?
Okay.
Okay. Clear? This all this like carriers and services, they are all the forwarding agents only, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now plans. Okay, what is this one? So this is the one is the different vendor account group. Okay, we can define one and vendor account group has a plant. What is this plant? So as we informed earlier, plants also will be behaving like the supplier. What cases? What cases it is?
In-house parts, in-house productions.
Not in-house productions, inter transfers, plant to plant transfers.
Okay.
When plant to plant transfer, you need to create the STO PO, right? So inter STO, company code transfer, plant to plant transfer. In that case, our plant is my supplier. They are supplying the goods from the receiving supplying plant to receiving plant. Okay. So in that case, you can create this vendor account group as a plant. Clear?
Yeah.
So that is a separate topic, partner determination, that we will discuss about the partner determination. Okay. So when you are defining here, you can define that at purchase organization level, sub range level, plant level. When you want to define the different partners, so you can define that. Okay. So partner schema having what partner schemas have multiple partners. They are defining under the main vendors. Under main vendor, that means for this vendor there is a multiple partners are there. That partners you are creating and you are assigning. Okay. So here you are assigning that whether that should be allowed or not allowed. That means for this vendor number, whatever we are creating for with vendor account group, whether we can allow this ordering address is different, alternative pay is different, like that. Okay, we are not assigning here directly. We just defining that. But when you creating the vendor master card with using this account group, whether I can allow multiple business partners for the same vendor. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. If they don't have any that concept, then I can put that only main vendor is the it's behaving like all the characters. Okay. Clear? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the way. So this is the way we can control that our vendor account group. Okay. This is the way we can control our vendor account group. Okay.
Mm.
So any questions on this one? How many controls are there today?
6.
How many controls are there? Six
Six.
controls.
6 controls.
Okay. So number range is common. It is the normal. External number is same. Field selection control. So these three is common everywhere. One time vendor account is something different, new. Plant relevance under sub-range is something new, and partner determination is different. Okay. Clear? So interview point of view, they will ask vendor account groups how they will ask what factor is controlling the vendor master record. Okay. Clear? Now coming to this additional to this one in S4 HANA we got BP, right? So how this BP is connected to this vendor account group? That is we will discuss tomorrow. What is your time? Shall we continue or we'll continue tomorrow?
Yeah, maybe tomorrow. It's late
Tomorrow is
for
fine. Yeah. It is late for Fernando. Yeah.
Okay. So now we discussed about only vendor how it is controlling, but out of this vendor account group, vendor account, okay, this is a controlling from the BP. So first we are creating as a BP, then after you are assigning that BP as a vendor. As we informed that first always you have to create a BP. That BP once you created, that BP you have to tell that whether you are creating for vendor or customer. Okay. So how that link is there? It's the next class we will see that how it is connected. So now what we discussed, this is the directly you can use for the ECC, but in S4 HANA this is little bit different. Okay. Concept is same, but assignment to the BP is different. Okay. So that assignment to BP is coming from the BP grouping. Okay. So that BP grouping and BP role. So you can see the transaction code BP. In this BP, when you creating here, you have the BP role and BP grouping. Okay. So based on this BP grouping, okay, and this BP role, it will work. So this BP role tell you that whether you are planning to create procurement, purchasing data, or company code data, or customer data, how it is like BP role. But this grouping is telling that whether you are using external number range or internal number range, which number range you are using, that it will tell you. And this BP grouping is connected to our vendor account group data. Okay. So that we will discuss tomorrow, that connections. Is clear?
Okay.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Simple topic. Okay.
Good.
Don't worry. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
do the practice.
Like,
Sir, can you resend this PPT, sir?
It
The
is already
link?
updated one only. You have that link, it is updated one only. Okay. You keep on asking that PPT, but you are not referring that PP. That's my problem.